everybody, we're so excited to have Megan Davies with us this week. She's so passionate about health and fitness, and I guess you've really been in it since you were a kid, started with dance and gymnastics. Fitness competitor at 14. And now she's the winner of Beachbody's The 20s, and she's created Clean Week, and then our favorites, MBF and MBFA, which is the advanced version. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, muscle burns fat, for those that don't know what MBF is. Muscle burns fat. So thank you for coming on. We're so excited to talk to you.
I'm so excited too. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I know we all have, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks. I was reading I didn't realize how long you've been in, what did you do? Just come out as a baby and start working out and doing dance?
Pretty much. My parents got me involved in dance when I was a lot younger. And then that kind of naturally transitioned into gymnastics. But then I hit kind of a growth spurt. Gymnasts are very short and tiny. And I hit that growth spurt. And I just remember hitting my toes on the bar every other practice and falling on my face and just kind of getting to the point where I was okay, maybe I'm growing out of this sport a little bit. And at that time, it just kind of naturally progressed into finding a trainer that was looking for teens to get into the teen division, into this fitness competition. And I wanted to know if I would be interested. And they had a dance and gymnastics component at the time, way back when, a one-piece component, a dance and gymnastics component. So it really was an easy transition into it. And then I just fell in love with strength training on top of it, since that's a huge component too. I was super shy on top of that. So it just ended up being something where I could kind of take advantage of my athleticism without, the anxiety of kind of doing group sports and things like that. Cause it really did give me a lot of anxiety at the time when I was younger.
That sounds just like us.
Yeah.
Seriously, we work out at home because we are shy.
Yep.
Yeah, we were not the good PE kids,
No.
but we were good at home.
I was the good PE kid, but the second somebody would say anything about a group sport, I'd be like, no.
That was me. And how I ever ended up getting picked for the volleyball team that went all the way to the championship, I'll never know. But so I wasn't a lucky team that got to sit on the bench. I had to go all the way to the end.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. So we love your mindset about strength training and how it builds confidence. So why, in your opinion, other than the confidence, why is it important for women to strength train?
I think it's just important in our overall health as we get older. I think we all know that as we get older, we have more incidents of osteoporosis and, just losing muscle in general, and those activities of daily living start getting harder and harder. And if we look at how our grandparents were when we were younger, when working out was not really such a day-to-day thing, and I think they were just naturally more active. But I don't know about you guys, as my grandparents got older, they were more and more sedentary, and they weren't taking care of themselves. They weren't eating right. They certainly weren't being active or doing any sort of strength training. And it really took a toll on the quality of their life. So I think that's just super important. I think sometimes we get so fixated on the physical, oh, I want to look good right now aspect of it, but this is really about long-term health. And I think that's kind of the point that I try to drive home is, abs are cool, abs are fun, abs are a great goal, if you want those. But I think overall, I just want people to take care of themselves and know that it's about so much more.
Yeah, totally. So I know you mix in cardio with all your strength training too, which I think is so unique and something that we really love, because I feel like it kind of gets that whole balanced approach. So it gets that, heart health in there too. So you can live longer and feel good. Yeah. But is there a way that we should be mixing in cardio? Because I know a lot of the times people that strength train think you should only strength train, and people that think cardio only want to do cardio. So if you can talk a little bit about
with strength training, definitely, people that are really into strength training, they get I don't want to do too much cardio because I'm going to like lose my gains kind of thing. And I get that. But at the same time, to your point, it's, you know, about your heart health as well. You know, I don't know too many people that want to go out there and be bodybuilders right now. I think most people are just looking to build some muscle and maybe lose some fat if that's their goal, to feel more confident like we were talking about. And so I think it's important to find that balance of, yes, strength training, lifting heavy, not being afraid to lift heavy, but also having that aspect of getting the heart rate up and getting your blood flowing for that heart health aspect as well.
Yeah. Talking about the, you know, lifting heavy, a lot of women are worried about getting big and bulky. So one of the questions we had from one of our clients was, how do they know how to, you know, increase their weights without getting that? And I know women can't get big and bulky, but I don't think that's what she means. I think she just means like the bigger muscles that you see some of the competitors have. She just wants a lean, toned, defined look. So how would we, you know, if
How do
I
you select a weight? Like, how do you pick?
I think it's important. You can see my boyfriend's doing
Yeah.
it.
He's been admiring already.
Yeah.
He's been out there raking. I'm just like,
he's gonna be like, I was in the shot. But I do think, you know, first of all, it's not going to happen overnight. So you're going to be able to start gaining muscle and feeling stronger. And, you know, like we said before, I always say strength builds confidence. You're going to start feeling those confidence gains way before anything else. And as women, it takes us a long time to gain muscle. So we might feel stronger. We might be able to lift heavier. But as far as actual gains are concerned, we're lucky to gain a pound of muscle in an entire month. So, you know, it takes a long time, and you're going to be able to see your body slowly start changing. And then you can kind of start, you know, deciding where you want to go from there. Do I want to continue upping my weights forever, or do I want to, you know, go into a little bit different of a workout style? So you're going to really be able to dictate that as you go along. But I think that misconception that you're going to gain weight in 3 weeks, in 6 weeks, it happens over a longer period of time than that. So you're not just going to wake up one morning and be like, oh my gosh, I'm huge. What did I do? And, you know, you shouldn't be so fearful of what's coming next because, you know, like you said, as women, we don't gain that much muscle anyway. I wish that I could put on more muscle. I work really hard to put on more muscle, and I don't think I've gained a pound of muscle in I don't know how long, because I'm just like kind of at that max limit of where my body's going to be. Right. And a lot of the competitors you do see are using other substances, I shouldn't say supplements, substances to get them to that point of being national competitors, of going into bodybuilding. And so you shouldn't look at that and see that as the standard, because it's not the standard for the average person that's just working out at home and getting these workouts done. So I would say just go into it with an open mind, you know, really push yourself, challenge yourself. It's so important to find out what your body can do, what it's capable of, and go from there. And then you could start seeing kind of how you want to tweak things as you go.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the answer. I read so much about it. I've seen that it's usually, as you were saying, harder. Like, just do your workout, lift the weights, and don't worry, because it seems like the women who want to bulk up actually have to do more work, more tweaking, more food changes, more, okay, I'm going to lift this weight and see how far I can go with it. And so I'm just like, the general, we're not going to have to worry about that, because we're not going to be tweaking things to that degree. So
Exactly.
And we've had so many clients tell us like how much they've been able to like eat and enjoy and have that fat burn increase since they've been building their muscles. Like, we asked people like, well, what questions do you want to ask? What questions do you want to ask? And like, everybody was just like, no, just tell her how much we love her workouts. Tell her how much we love like the combos of everything.
Yeah. Like, I don't have a question for her, but I love muscle burns fat. I'm already seeing results. They are so tickled. I'm looking forward to December for when the advanced comes out.
Well, for everybody.
Well, yes, for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I was referring to our one client, but yes, she's tickled waiting for that one.
That's amazing. And that's exactly why we called it muscle burns fat, is just to kind of get that, you know, concept out there straight out of the name. Like, people are knowing what they're going to get. Is we're trying to build muscle, we're trying to burn fat, we're trying to raise that metabolism up. Because if there's anything that almost every single client comes into me and says, it's, my metabolism is so low. My metabolism died. I don't have a metabolism. And that's not necessarily true, but if we build up that muscle, then yes, you're going to feel hungrier because your body is burning more calories just day to day at rest. So not only are you going to be burning those calories during your workout, but also when you're just doing your activities of daily living. And so you will be able to enjoy a little bit more, not have to worry about it so much. You know, we always need moderation. I'm a huge proponent of not being all or nothing, but finding that zone where you're comfortable in your day-to-day life and your social life and your time in the gym, like just finding that level of comfort where you can maintain it for a lifetime.
That's so awesome that you said that, because right now we're doing a challenge just based off of that. Because, you know, everybody's like, I've got to do this. And they feel like, all right, I'm starting Monday. Oh, you know, well, I've got to go here and I got to go there. I fell off. So I'm going to start next Monday. And our challenge is like, stop starting over. Like, this is life. Like, find what you can be consistent with.
Yeah.
So I'm so tickled, you know, like
it's so funny because I mean, we just had Halloween. And so I saw all of these posts talking about, well, I had Halloween candy. I went overboard yesterday. I missed 2 workouts this week because of all the craziness. You know, my kids had all these Halloween events and things I needed to bring them to. And I didn't do 2 of my workouts during the week. And I'm like, okay, so what you're telling me is every other day besides Halloween, you were pretty much on point.
Yeah.
And you missed 2 workouts out of 6 or 7. I'm like, you did great this week. Like, that's amazing.
I love it.
Kicking yourself and punishing yourself for no reason. Like, find all of those things where you did do fantastic and say, okay, like I really did well on these things today. You know, I think too often we look for things to beat ourselves up about when it comes to health and fitness. And it doesn't need to be like that. You should have a healthy relationship with this process.
Yeah, totally. So we talked a little bit about your workouts, but we also wanted to know a little bit about like your nutrition, because I watched your grocery haul video and I was like, yes, like this, you know, like you eat like normal foods and like it's simple and obviously it's effective because you look amazing. So would you just share a little bit about your diet and kind of how you also feel about carbs? Because I feel like that's another place people beat themselves up. Like, you can't have a carb.
Yep. And I think it all comes down to balance, like we've been talking about. I'm definitely not afraid of a carb. I think I have a carb in every single meal, including at night. I have carbs. So carbs are not the enemy. And if we find that way to balance our diet, you're going to find that carbs are just going to give you that energy for your day, for your workouts. So I definitely always have carbs. But other than that, I'm super simple. I don't like cooking, to be honest, and I don't like cleaning up after I cook is what I say. So I don't like spending a lot of time in the kitchen, and I become a creature of habit in some ways. Like, I'm always going to have like my eggs in the morning, but maybe I switch up what kind of vegetable I have. You know, maybe I switch up a little bit of fruit in my oatmeal or something like that. And then for lunch, it's pretty much always like a salad with some sort of protein. Maybe I switch up what kind of protein I have. Maybe I switch up the vegetables that are in that salad. And then for dinner, a lean protein, some sort of carb, and some sort of veggie. And like I said, switching up little things, but I don't go crazy with crazy recipes. Like, you're never going to find me like, look at this 20-step recipe with all these different seasonings and things like that. And it's going to cost you a fortune just to be able to do this recipe. Like, it's not my thing at all. So I keep everything really simple, very plain, leave a little bit of room in there for, you know, a glass of wine at the end of the week or a night out with friends, and just keep it simple like that and kind of stay consistent day to day with, you know, the basics.
Yeah. We sound like, what is it called? The spirit animal, or, well, you're not a spirit animal, but whatever. We sound like we're just like, because we do not cook. And when I do share my meal plan with our challengers, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't write this again because it's just eggs. Like, they're going to get sick of it.
I know. And sometimes I get sick of it too. Like, I remember when I was competing, I would eat egg whites every day. I cannot eat egg whites anymore. Like, used to put them in my mouth and go over the sink and literally hold my hand over my mouth and like eat my egg whites. So I'm like, okay, I'm not about that life.
No. I thought about being, you know, going into like that. I thought, well, just for once, you know, do it. You've always dreamt of it, Kim. So I guess it was while I was still in my 40s. I considered it. And I was just like, Cam, you cannot eat egg whites, chicken, and broccoli, even for the time it takes to do this. I can't. I'll be a mean person. So
Yes, people don't realize what an emotional toll it takes on you when you're going through that process of doing a show. I think that was kind of the biggest takeaway. I competed for 13 years. You do not want to talk to me as we approach that last week leading up to a show. So I'm liable to like anything from be angry to cry and a hat. Like it's very emotional when you start cutting your food back like that.
Yeah. Just give me food.
Yes.
So what are your go-to foods now? Like, what is something we'll find in your refrigerator every day besides eggs?
Every day, yes, eggs. There's many, many eggs in my fridge. But I actually also, what I realized is I don't have a lot of food in my fridge or in my cupboard at any given time. I think it's so interesting when I see fitness people like, this is what's in my fridge. And they open up their fridge and there's just like vegetables falling out of their fridge. I'm like, how are you eating all these vegetables? Like, I'm glad you're getting your veggies in, but half of that fridge would go bad if it was for me. So I don't have a lot of food in my fridge. I usually have some stockpile. It's like a grab and go. I have some stockpile of like sweet potatoes, I would say, is something I always have, of some sort of lean protein, whether it's chicken or fish or whatever, like some sort of backstock of that, some sort of backstock of veggies, whether it's, you know, green beans, or I probably have broccoli in there right now. And then some sort of like salad stuff. And that's really pretty much all I'll have in my fridge. There's probably a couple beers in there too.
Yeah, that's right. There's a bottle of wine in mine.
They said the same thing about mom. Said, "Oh, it looks like a bachelor pad, except like with all like the healthy foods instead of like your typical like bachelor pad foods. Like there's nothing in like her fridge."
No, I mean, I get what I need for the week, but that's it. And so my fridge and my pantry are bare, other than what I need.
That's the one thing I think that keeps me in check also is Eric and I are definitely the people that if we have a bag of chips, we eat the bag of chips. Like, I don't know how somebody goes in and eats a couple of chips and puts the bag back. It's not going to happen in our house. We're going to eat our bag of chips. I don't care how big that bag of chips is. So we just don't have those things in our house to just be there. If we want a cheat or a snack or something like that, it's like we have to leave the house to go get those things, because it just creates a little bit more of a barrier. It's not like I never have ice cream or chips or anything like that, but I would have to leave the house to go get it and bring it back. So I just don't have that kind of stockpile in my house because I will eat it.
Me too.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about your boyfriend, Eric. Do you think it's important to have like your significant other on board, or like at least have like a friend, like mom and me hold each other accountable? Do you think that plays into your success and motivation?
Absolutely. You know, when I got started in doing my fitness competitions, my family wasn't involved in health or fitness at all. So most people think that it's the opposite way, that she started so young. Of course, her family must have already been doing this, but my family was actually very overweight. We were all unhealthy as far as our eating habits were concerned. And so I very much did just fall into being into health and fitness. And once they started seeing me do it, and I was just, 14, 15 years old, trying to be like, okay, how do I eat a little bit healthier at home? Like when everybody else is eating pizza, like how do I do this on my own? And so then my family started to be a little bit more like, okay, like our kids trying to eat healthier, like whose kid does this? Like, yes, okay, we'll eat healthier. And then they started setting their own fitness goals. And, it really became a family aspect instead of me trying to do it on my own. And I think individually, they all tried to do it on their own at times too. And it didn't work because they were trying to do it on their own. And so we really started creating that family dynamic of supporting each other. And that grew into a business. I own it on top of Beachbody. I own a gym with my family now for the past 9 years. And that's kind of my day-to-day outside of Beachbody, is being at the gym. But I think because of that family support and accountability, that's why we all were successful. It's because Eric and I are on the same page at home day to day is why we're successful. And so I think that accountability is so important. Whenever I have a client come in, I kind of ask them, like, who at home needs to be doing this with you? Like, there's so many times that somebody comes into me and says, well, I really don't want my kid to go down this path that I've been on. So I want you to train my kid, but I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, what? or I'm going to train, but my spouse isn't going to do it. And I'm like, again, this is about health and fitness and longevity and taking care of yourself. It doesn't have to be like, okay, well, I can only eat, like we were saying, like chicken and broccoli from now on.
Yeah.
I think that's most people's mentality is, well, I don't want to do that because it's going to be super restrictive. And it really doesn't need to be like that. As long as we're getting moving a little bit every single day, we're weight training, we're eating healthy 80% of the time, that's what's going to work. So I think the more everybody can get on that page, the more successful, people in your home are going to be.
Yeah. And it sounds like it really brought everybody together, like throughout your life, like it's helped, like your relationship. So I feel like so many times we think it's going to be isolating. Well, I'm not going to be able to go out with my friends and have a glass of wine, or I'm not going to go to happy hour, or I can't have pizza with my husband, but really, it can actually bring you together because you could work out together.
Yeah.
You go for a hike. You could, do all different active things and create these new habits that you all do together.
Right. And I was going to add, some of our clients, they've tried and tried with their spouse or their boyfriend, their kids. They still can't, get them on board. So I think, though, if you stay consistent with your healthy habits and you're determined, just like everything you're saying feels like, oh, that's coming from my brain. If you keep consistent with it, you run into people, you start to get a little, if you can't get your family on board, you can create, you can find a new family, so to speak, friends that become like your workout family.
Absolutely. And I think the more you lead by example, eventually those people that you're wanting, them to follow you, eventually they're going to come around. The more you lead by example, I think that was really important to even my parents as well. It's like one of them started and the other one was like, okay, well, we've done this plenty of times in the past and it didn't work. So I didn't know if I wanted to get involved, but now that we're actually doing it and seeing results, like maybe I'll get involved too. So it really does kind of become a snowball effect of people saying like, okay, maybe I will join you on this, but as long as you are consistent and you're being the leader in that situation.
Yeah, totally. And they'll see not even like you said, like the abs, that's cool, but like they're going to see like the energy and, you just have so much more pep. And I don't know, I think it even helps my mindset, especially strength training.
Absolutely. And I mean, for me, like I said, when I was younger, I was so quiet and shy. It's funny because even people from high school or college, when they see what I'm doing now, or they see me like online on social, they're like, I don't remember you being like this. And I was like, I wasn't like this. And I'm still very much an introvert, but I do think that training and Beachbody and training other people has brought me out of my shell to realize that, I have something that I want to share with people, and I need to be able to vocalize that. And so strength builds confidence. I mean, that's exactly where that came from, is just my own experience going through this journey and finding myself and coming out of my shell, for sure.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I know we kind of mentioned that Muscle Burns Fat and Muscle Burns Fat Advanced comes out for everybody that has Beachbody On Demand in December. So that'd be a great way to start the new year. But if they wanted just to kind of get started, would you recommend they start with like Clean Week so they can kind of see how things go, or should they just jump right on in?
I think it's up to you. I think if you're a true beginner, it's been years since you've, been into fitness or working out, I think Clean Week is a great place to start. It's slow paced. All the moves are very accessible. And then you kind of have that intensifier instead of a modifier to turn it up if you would like to turn it up. And it's only a week, so it's really a great way to just kind of get your body moving and acclimated to working out again. The same holds true though if you jump right into MBF though. You just lift lighter weights, you rest when you need to. Like, these are all things that are perfectly okay when you're starting out. I said before, you don't have to go from 0 to 100, and I mean that through this process. So I think a lot of people think that they're going to have to be able to do the workout 100% or they're not going to get results. And I'm like, no, if you need to take a rest day when you're starting out, take a rest day. If you need to press pause on that workout, press pause and catch your breath. If you need to do the modification, do the modification. I had somebody who modified every single move every single day and rested when they needed to, and she is in within 80 pounds lost right now since February doing MBF and MBFA. And she has only modified every single move, 80 pounds lost. You will still see results. So I think just going at your own pace and, you know, giving your body that grace and that time to acclimate is so important, and just making the process work for you.
Yeah. I love that. I just think it's so cool. And the modifier and MBF is awesome. Like, you know, because sometimes you get like somebody that's like super duper fit and it's just like, no, honey, I know you could be jumping with those burpees and you could be going 20 miles an hour and you're going 10. But like, I was like, no, I'm like her. This is okay. We're in this together. Like, so the modifications are
incredible. Awesome. I think Lacey's laugh and Lacey's personality and the energy that she brings. I mean, she is not holding back during that workout. I always say, I think Lacey's working harder than half the people in the room 90% of the time. She is moving. So even though she's taking out the impact, she is getting just as good of a workout as anybody, if not more, I think, a lot of times.
Yeah, I felt her. I was with her. I loved it. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and share a little bit about your workouts and your nutrition. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course. So if anybody wants to get in contact with you, how's the best way? Is it Instagram, Facebook, a website?
I would say Instagram. I'm at Megan Davies Fitness. Facebook, same thing too. But man, I don't know how everybody does it with all the different social platforms. So I think Instagram is the place you can get me best. And yeah, I do answer all the questions and messages myself. So, you know, feel free to message me with any questions, guys. It might take me a few days, but I do get there.
That's so awesome. And thank you so much. And if y'all want to check out one of her workouts and you're just struggling to find like where it is, maybe you can check out the MBF, type in like MBF story and it'll pop up too. So you can see like the review and actually get access to the workouts.
Yeah. Absolutely. I would love for you guys to try it out. And yeah, December 18th, it goes on access for everybody on Beachbody on demand. So definitely look out for that too.
Yes.